Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Precious. If this is your first time, on today's video we're going to be talking about how to parent without yelling. I am not an expert. I'm just a mom of 3 kids, and this is something that I've personally struggled with, and I think that there are so many people out there that are struggling with it as well. There are a few things that I have done and I am still doing to be able to help me stop this whole thing about yelling. People that know me will know that I can shout, and it's not a good thing. Don't get me wrong, kids know how to press our buttons, but does that mean that we should yell at them? I don't think so. There are things that we can do to stop yelling. The first thing you want to do is practice to speak calmly or don't speak. Kids know how to press our buttons, like I say. But when these things happen, I think that the best thing we should do, or what I have been doing, is I step out from the place and I count 20 in my head just to calm down. While I'm counting, I'm taking deep breaths. Taking deep breaths just to make sure that I'm like calming myself down. If I'm not able to calm down, what I do is I go outside as well to see if I can just do something different and not handle that situation at that time. With that, I'm able to calm down. If I am not calm, I don't speak at all. So practice to either speak calmly or don't speak at all. Another way you can practice to speak calmly is on your own. When the kids are not there, you just speak to yourself, speak to the mirror, talk. Just keep practicing talking to yourself. You think, oh, you're going crazy, but you're not. You're actually practicing so that when the real thing happens, you would know what to say and what to do. Another thing that I do is I practice to speak calmly but seriously, because it's very difficult when you're upset about something to be calm and serious. So it's either you're very serious but not calm. Most of the time you're very serious, you're not calm. So what I do is like I said, go in front of the mirror, look at my face in front of the mirror and speak calmly but seriously, because children know when we are serious. You may be shouting, yelling, they know, oh, mom is always shouting. That's just the way mommy talks, or that's the way daddy talks. But when you are not shouting or you're not yelling, but you are talking calmly but seriously, the kids would know that this is not mommy. This is a different mommy. This is not the mommy we know. So learn how to practice how to speak calmly but seriously. Let them see that serious face when you're talking calmly. So that's one thing that I do, or I have been doing, to be able to stop me from yelling when the kids get really naughty. Another thing that I have done is I set boundaries. You need to set boundaries. If you're in a home where your kids don't have boundaries, I don't know how you're coping, because kids need to know what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. Not just setting boundaries, you also have to let them know the consequences. When they go beyond that boundary, they need to know the consequences. So by the time they do it, you ask them, so what do you think is going to happen? They will likely say to you, okay, mommy, I think I'm going to go on timeout, or I think you're going to discipline me, or I think you're going to do. They know what to expect when they've gone off or when they've been naughty. So set boundaries. Another thing people can do, or another thing that I think would help parents, is have a board in the kitchen so your kids would know what to do at every time. If you want your child to do something at 12 o'clock and you think he or she always forgets to do that thing at 12 o'clock, I think the best thing to do is set a reminder, or you write it on the board, or have a board in the kitchen. If you go on Amazon, there are so many boards that you can buy, and just keep it in the kitchen and write at 12 o'clock this person should be doing this, or at 1 o'clock this person should be doing this. With that, you're reminding them. You're not stressing out because they haven't done what they're supposed to do. So set boundaries. Let them know the consequences of going beyond the boundaries that you set, and also, if you can, help them so they will not be naughty by providing reminders or putting stuff in the kitchen or just putting things in place to be able to remind them so they'll be able to do the right thing they're supposed to do. Another thing that has been helping me is follow through with what you say. It's easy for parents to say, oh, if you do that again, you're going to go on timeout. But when it happens, they won't. Most of the times, parents send their kids on timeout, but honestly, when you want to discipline a 2-year-old, no, let's not say 2 years, you want to discipline a 3-year-old, you want to put a 3-year-old on timeout, it is very, very difficult, because by the time the 3-year-old is put on timeout, as you're walking out, that child is going behind you because he or she does not understand what you're doing. But it's easier to discipline older children because when you say go on timeout, they go on timeout. So when parents don't follow through with what they say, because they know that by the time they put their 3-year-old on timeout, the 3-year-old, you have to do it like so many times. You keep putting them back, because 3-year-olds, they are very, very naughty, most of them. So they're going to keep coming out of the timeout and you have to put them back. So you have to follow through with what you say. If you say, okay, if you do that one more time, you're going to go on timeout, make sure you put them on timeout. If you say to them, oh, I'm going to take your tablets off you, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, always stick to what you say. Another thing I'm going to say is that if you're going to say something to say, okay, I'm going to take your tablet off you and it's going to be grounded for 3 months. Really? Are you sure you can actually keep that tablet for 3 months? So why not say, okay, I'm going to take your tablet off you. You're not going to have it for 1 hour, or you're not going to have it for the whole day or something. But don't set an expectation, or don't give a punishment that you know you can't follow through. So follow through with anything you have said, or follow through with any discipline that you have set that you're going to do. Because if you don't, trust me, your kids are going to use you. Your kids know that mommy cannot follow through, daddy cannot follow through what he or she has said. So they will keep doing that thing. Another thing that I do that has actually helped me a lot is I always think about my kids' feelings. How do they feel when I yell at them? Because sometimes we parents forget that our children have feelings. They are human beings like us. They feel things. They are very, very emotional as well as we are. We shouldn't just think that they are not human beings. They are. So before you yell at your child, before you scream, before you raise your voice, think about how that child is going to feel. I always think about it myself because I know that my kids don't like me yelling. I've asked them so many times and they say to me, Mommy, we don't want you to yell. We don't want you to shout when you're talking. And I know that it affects them. With that in mind, I try as much as I can not to yell. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, but I try my best not to yell because I think about how my kids feel when I yell. So if you want to think about how your children feel when you yell, think about how you would feel if someone yells at you or constantly yelling at you. How would you feel about it? That's exactly the way our kids feel. Stop yelling, or before you yell, think about the feeling, or think about how your kids will feel when you yell, and that would help you not to yell. Another thing that I do that has been helping me is I apologize to my kids. I know that it's quite difficult, especially for the African parents. With the way we were brought up, adults are not meant to apologize to children, but I have come to understand that when I apologize to my kids, it helps me not to do that thing again. Because if, for example, I say, okay, I'm really sorry, Phoebe, that I yelled at you yesterday. If the next minute I yell at Phoebe, Phoebe is going to say, oh, Mommy, you're yelling again. You just apologize. You're yelling again. And guess what? When we correct our kids on something that they have done, and they say sorry, and they see that, okay, Mommy says sorry, and she does the same thing she says she's not going to do, they are going to say sorry and do what you think you don't want them to do, because they feel like, okay, if Mommy can't keep to what she says, I don't think I'm old enough to even keep to what I say. So it's a circle. I try as much as I can to say sorry to my kids. Honestly, if I yell at them or if I do something that I feel like I've overdone it, I always apologize to my kids. It actually helps me not to do that thing again. So please, guys, as parents, we should be able to know when we've done something wrong, because we are teaching our kids to learn from us. They are actually learning from us. When they see that when we yell at them, we apologize. We are not apologizing because we're not meant to discipline them. We're apologizing because we overreacted, or we shouldn't have yelled, we should have done it in a different way. So that teaches our children to, like, okay, when I've done something wrong, I can apologize and say I'm sorry and not do that thing again. So bear in mind that in as much as we love our kids, in as much as we respect our kids, in as much as we care for our kids, we should also know that we need to apologize to our kids when we've done something wrong. It's not just yelling though. Anything at all that we've done that we think is wrong, we should be able to apologize to our kids, because it helps us and it helps the kids as well. Another thing that I have done or I've been doing is I respect my kids. You all know that I love kids. You all know that family is so important to me. I respect my kids. Parents, it's very, very important as well to be able to respect your kids. Why is it that we respect everyone around us? We respect our parents, we respect our friends, we know our boundaries when it comes to every other family member, every other person in our life. But when it comes to our kids, we tend not to respect them. I think that it's very, very important that we should respect our kids. Before we say things publicly, or before we say things in front of our friends, how do we portray our kids? Is it something that is going to come out in a respectful way, or is something that's going to come out, okay, we are bosses? We feel like, sometimes parents feel like they are bosses to their kids. I think God has put us in place to be able to look after these kids and not to be their boss. Honestly, we shouldn't be our children bosses, but should be like people that will be able to guide them, people that will be able to take care of them with so much love and respect. Because when our kids see that we respect them, they respect us. Sometimes I want to speak to my daughter and she's not ready to speak to me, and I feel like, okay, if you're not ready to talk about it, maybe we can talk about it the other time. We shouldn't always impose what we want on our kids. We should always say, okay, I'm talking to you now, you're going to answer me, or okay, this is what I want you to do now and now. You don't care how they feel. And sometimes another thing that I also found out is that what is important to us may not be important to our kids, right? And what is important to our kids may not be important to us. So we should learn how to put ourselves in our children's shoes. With that, we will not yell. If we have respect in mind, if we respect our kids, I can actually say to you that we as parents, we would not yell. Yelling would be like almost the last resort. And yelling would be only when our kids are in danger, then we'll raise our voice to actually help them, but not to yell at them. Another thing that I think about that actually helps me not to yell is that I know my kids love me. Like, my kids loves me so much, and I don't think that they would intentionally want to do anything that would get me to the point of yelling. So with that in my head, whenever they do something, I always think about it to say, okay, why have they done what they do? Kids are kids. Kids are going to be naughty. That's in their nature to be naughty. We cannot change it. I think what we should be doing is to think what they've done. Do they actually mean to hurt us as parents? Do they actually mean to get us angry? Do they actually mean to make us to yell? I don't think so. I don't think your kids will intentionally do something that would make you upset or make you angry. I don't think they will intentionally. I know, yeah, they press buttons sometimes, but children would not do anything to hurt their parents because they love their parents. So with this in mind, for me, I try as much as I can, even when it's very difficult, not to yell, to either take myself out of that environment just for me not to yell. So guys, these are the things that I have been doing that has been helping me. I'm still working on it because yelling is, I grew up in that environment of yelling. So it's something that has been in me, and it's something that I have to consciously, it's not going to go overnight. I can't pray it away. It's not a spirit that I'm going to pray away. It's something that I have to work on myself. And these are the things that I have been doing to stop me from yelling. I think that it helped me a lot. Honestly, it has helped me a lot because I know where I used to be, and I know where I am now, and I know where I am aiming to be. So, and I know that if I follow these these steps, if I follow these things that I've been doing, it's going to get to a point where I may not even be able to open my mouth to talk properly because I am so calm. So thank you so much for watching this video. I just hope that you've gotten one or two things from this, how to be a parent without yelling, and I hope that God is going to help us as parents to be the best and be role models to our children. Be grateful, be positive, and be yourself.